What is up, YouTube people? It's your boy Patty McNinja, and we finally got a gameplay trailer for the upcoming, I should say hopefully upcoming video game The Day Before, and I want to break it down. So without further ado, let's rock. And unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard about this game. At least you've heard somebody mention The Day Before, because this game has gone through a roller coaster of emotions. I'm not gonna do a complete deep dive into the whole saga. I'm sure there's plenty of videos out there doing exactly that. That being said, I will kind of give a brief overview of everything that's been going on behind the scenes with this game. That way everybody watching this is on the same page. The Day Before was first announced in 2021. It's an MMO set in the zombie apocalypse, developed by Fantastic and published by Montoya, which, side note, both names sound like classified ads and they just didn't want to pay for extra letters. They both have very weird names. Neither have developed nor published a game I'd ever heard of. The Day Before currently has a release date of November 10th, 2023. I say currently because it's already been pushed back a couple of times, and I have my doubts, as we'll get into, that it's gonna make that November 10th release date. The Day Before is slated for release on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series S and X. Again, just like the release date, I would take that with a huge grain of salt. And like I said earlier, this game was first announced in 2021 and people went absolutely bananas for it, to the point that it was actually the #1 most wishlisted game on Steam. But it's basically been downhill ever since then. Like I said earlier, it's been delayed a couple of times. During one delay, they actually decided to change game engines, which seems like an insane idea mid-production. But that's not even the craziest thing about this game. Like I said earlier, it was at one point the most wishlisted game on Steam, but now you can't even find it on Steam because it's been delisted. They claim it's because of a copyright issue, which, if that's true, that's really embarrassing that you didn't copyright or trademark or whatever you want to call it the game before you started developing it. And this, of course, led people to theorize that this game is not even real, that it was always a scam, and we were never gonna get the game. Until about a couple of days ago, when they finally gave us a gameplay reveal trailer, which that's what we're gonna break down here in a second. I will say, side note, they did also release shortly after the gameplay reveal, they did release a 40-second video of a guy playing what looks like The Day Before, which seems really sus to me that you feel necessary to say like, hey, this is a real game, here's a person actually playing the game. That comes off as super suspicious, but that's beside the point. We're not going to get into that video. We're only going to talk about the gameplay reveal trailer. All right, so I got the trailer queued up and good to go. So let's go ahead and watch the 10-minute gameplay reveal for The Day Before. So the first thing as this trailer is starting that I want to mention, and I'm not the only one that said this, I'm not the only one that's made this comparison, but this game very much wants to be like The Division meets The Last of Us. The influence from The Last of Us is just very heavy-handed, to the point that literally the logo looks like the same font as The Last of Us. So it clearly wants to be that game so much. It wants to be an MMO version of The Last of Us. And this is probably, well, I should say, hopefully a very early build of this game. But the first thing that that jumps out to me is the fact that it's just really empty in The Last of Us. Now, granted, that game has been remastered and remade twice, so obviously they had plenty of time to add things to it. But one thing about that game that I absolutely love, it's one of my favorite games of all time, is that there's just so much going on in the environment. And that's the first thing that jumped out to me with this gameplay trailer, is there's not a ton in the game. Like there's not anything in the street. It's very just boring. I think that's the best word to describe it so far. I will say that I do like the dismantling stuff, and the crafting menu does seem like a lot more advanced than the simple crafting that you would have in The Last of Us. That being said, it's not super advanced. You just basically push a button and hold the button to dismantle and then craft certain things. And then the actual mods for your guns look exactly like basically somebody just played Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and was like, why don't we just use the gunsmith in that game for our game? So that's clearly what they're going for. Again, hopefully they'll have some time to add some flavor to the game. Like I said earlier, the game looks just very boring. There's not a ton in the environment, and there's just not a ton going on with the crafting, dismantling, and the gunsmith stuff. Like even with The Last of Us, the crafting is not a huge part of the game, as far as like there's not a ton of different mechanics to like while you're crafting, but at least there's some flavor to it. At least you can see Joel or Ellie like actually kind of working on the gun as you're crafting, as you're modding your gun. So I wish that there was a little bit more of that in this, but it's not bad so far. It just looks very generic. And the next thing that I want to mention is this looks extremely scripted. And I can tell that it clearly is scripted, because this is not how somebody would play a game like this. Like if I went into a house for the first time in a game like this, I'd be exploring everything. I'd be dry humping all the walls to see if there's anything for me to interact with. And that tells me one or two things. One, there are things in this game that are broken, that are just not ready to show off. That's obviously the pessimistic angle. I'm going to pause it real quick because obviously I have something to say about the zombies in this game. So either one, there are things in this game that just don't work and they don't want to show those things off just yet. Or on the flip side of that, there are really cool things in this game that they're going to show off later. I tend to think it's more pessimistic. I think that there's things in this game that just don't work. That's why they don't want to show it off, because they've gotten such bad press lately that if there was some really cool stuff to show off, they'd be showing it off right now. So as far as the zombies are concerned, I'll let it play through. We are almost 4 minutes into a 10-minute gameplay reveal trailer for a zombie apocalypse game, and we've seen 3 zombies. Those are the first zombies we've seen this whole time. And I want to rewind it a little bit to show you how bad this gameplay is. I didn't go quite far enough back. Let's start off a little bit before. So first of all, it's kind of far away, so you can't really see the zombies that much. And the thing is, they barely move. They almost don't move at all. It's like their feet are glued to the ground. There is no danger whatsoever. It's pretty boring. It's just boring gameplay. Like if I was playing this game, I'd be like, well, that was easy. And then this game is an MMO, so it's built for people to basically live in this environment. And I haven't seen anything that makes me want to live in this environment. So I kind of hate this. I don't know if you caught that. I think they're going to show it again, but the little FCC, the fried crispy chicken, they do it later in the trailer as well, where they do that thing where they want to be clever and like come up with clever names for restaurants and buildings in the game that are based on real things, but it's not clever at all. It's just kind of corny, and it's very desperate. It feels very desperate for them to have like a personality to the game, and it just does not work for me at all. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. There's like nothing here. There's some trash bags and there's obviously some cars, but it feels very like, here's the way that you're supposed to go, because there's nothing blocking their path here. It was very strategic where these cars were placed in the road. It's very clear where you're supposed to go, which goes back to me talking about how it's scripted. It's very scripted. And here we go, another like clever company name change, which is not clever at all. BVS, that's so dumb. I hate that. And I think we're about to get some more zombies here. Yep. Again, so far away. First of all, there's no danger because you're not close to them at all. But also, I want to see the zombies. This is a zombie apocalypse game, and you can't even see them. It's so dark, and they're so far away, and there's what? It looks like maybe 4 or 5, maybe? So in this entire 10-minute trailer, we're gonna see 7 zombies? That can't be right. Does she not even kill him? I don't remember if she kills him. I don't think she even kills him. That's ridiculous. Oh, so I think we're gonna actually get more zombies. But again, you can't really see them all that well. The game's not lit very well. And she's just like blazing through them. There's like no danger whatsoever. You can't really see them all that well. At least those ones ran at her. I will give them credit there. The other ones, like I said earlier, just felt like they were glued to the pavement. So at least you got to see a little bit more. And in the game's defense, at least it looks like there's a little bit more flavor to the game. I wonder if she's gonna walk by the zombies and maybe we can actually see them a little bit more. Is she going to? Is she gonna even like, of course, they don't stop and look at them. That's really sus. Is this it? We're getting towards the end of it. I don't know if there's anything else kind of interesting. I will say that there is a little bit of graffiti, as you saw. They were pretty clear that they wanted you to see that. So that's kind of interesting. I will give them somewhat credit. Oh, we got some more zombies. That's good. We got a little bit more because the light was actually on the zombies. We could actually see them a little bit more. So that's pretty cool. Oh, and they're actually running. So cool. We actually got to see some somewhat legit zombie gameplay. They're still kind of far away. That one got a little bit close, but still it just looks very generic zombies. And I think that's it. Well, there you have it, folks. That is the 10-minute gameplay reveal trailer for The Day Before. I think the most positive thing that you could say about it is the fact that it does appear to be an actual video game and it's not a scam. I will say that there is, in its current state, unless that is a extremely early build, like I'm talking like months ago build of the game, there is almost no way that that game is going to be playable on November 10th. They are going to at least delay it one more time because they can't release a game like that. A zombie MMO, nobody's gonna care about that game. It's gonna get shit on and everybody's gonna forget about it. So if they want to make a legit game that people are gonna wanna play over and over and over again, and like I said earlier, like you wanna be able to live in these games, there's no way that that game is gonna happen by November 10th. I know that sounds like a long ways away, but in video game time, it's really not. So it's gonna get delayed at least one more time if we ever see it. There's so many things that need to be added to that game. It just looks very boring and generic. There's not a lot of flavor to it. I'm also obviously very nervous about the zombies. Like there wasn't that many zombies in a zombie apocalypse game and you don't really ever get to really see them up close. So it just, there's a lot of work to be done with this game, and I don't see that it's gonna get released anytime soon. And if it does, there's no way it's gonna be good. I don't want to root against a game. I want every video game ever made to be good, because the more video games that are good, the better this community is as a whole. But my opinion is that game is nowhere near ready to go. All right, so that is my reaction to the 10-minute gameplay reveal trailer for The Day Before. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, do all of the things that I always tell you to do. Smash that like button, consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, ding that bell. That way you're notified every time I post a video. I try to post weekly gaming related content. So if you like that type of stuff, definitely consider subscribing and dinging that bell. But until next video, take it easy. What's up, YouTube people? It's your boy Patty McNinja, and this is my boy Yoshi, aka Kitty Boy. And we were just talking, and we agree that since you made it this far in the video, you might as well subscribe. You wouldn't want to disappoint Kitty Boy, would you?